you cannot ask people to trust you, but you can build systems
That
which are so transparent that it generates the trust, because we cannot cheat.
Yeah.
Or if we cheat, it will become apparent.
Very quickly.
I'm here with Gregor Gregerson at the Safe House in Singapore, and we're going to do a walkthrough and then a bit of an audit of individual parcels and things, checking up. They have an audit professionally done tomorrow as well, so they've been preparing for it already, and let's see what we can find.
I came at short notice. The guys here had no idea I was coming this week. They only found out I think Wednesday afternoon. And I didn't even confirm the time until sort of late yesterday. All very
we
last
didn't.
minute.
It was not. We didn't take 200 tons of silver and put it back
It wasn't set up. That's for sure.
Yeah, but because that's the other thing you have to understand. The 220 tons, if you truck it out with 5-ton trucks, you still need my math is getting it, about 50 trucks or so.
50 trucks. Okay. Yeah.
Depending on
It's
how
a
you
big
load it.
logistical undertaking.
So it's going to take you 2 weeks or 3. You cannot move it quickly. So,
Okay.
but again, the main thing is really tracking by item.
Individual items.
If you have that,
Serial numbers on the bars.
yes,
Scans on the packages.
because if you track by item and you have people coming checking it, if you do something funny, you will be found out. Here where we are, this is the entrance to the main Silver Vault door. To come in here, you're going through a man trap with Singapore Auxiliary Police. You then go into the public area. This is the area which basically is a non-public area already. And it's a buffer area to then go into the main vault.
Yeah, when I arrived, the first thing I did, I handed over my passport, and they've got that now, and I can't leave until, I won't get it back until I go back out the front and go through that process again.
Yeah. So you basically have to close this door. Once you close this door, you can open what's called the day gate, which is essentially what keeps people in and out from a process point of view. So let's go in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you need 2 people to access here at any time.
Okay.
The door you see here, this is a 2-ton +1 door. Everything here is basically supersized in order to handle silver.
Okay.
At this point, we're
Very
storing.
costly compared to gold.
Yes, silver takes about 100 times more space compared to gold. We are storing 220 tons of silver here right now. The silver is some of it inside these pallet cages. Then you will find more and more of these. Essentially, these are good delivery kinds of bars. Now, good delivery, in case people wonder what that means, it just means that it's been refined by an LBMA refiner.
Okay.
And
So these have been removed for the audit tomorrow, or what? Why are they here?
essentially, the 1,000 ounce bars are being stored
Like this.
like this.
Okay, so this
Some
will be
of
part of
them-
your inventory.
Yes, some of them are being moved over here. Most of them, if you look down here, we'll go down here later, but you will
Yes.
see the bars here. As you go to the side, you'll find more. Maybe if you want to come over to this area, you'll see there's a second line
Right.
of there are more bars down here. So essentially, when it comes to these large bars, they don't really go into the pallet cages, because the pallet cages tend to have a weight limit of about 1 ton or so.
Okay, so they're on the ground level.
Yes, 1 ton is
Is this
1,000
heavy?
kg,
Okay.
2,500 pounds or so.
Right.
If you go beyond that, it starts becoming a weight issue. So large bars like this, you basically put on the ground. You can put some pallets in between, and then you can layer it up. That's why not everything goes into these pallets. Now, once you look up, you see these yellow boxes.
Yeah.
The yellow boxes are made of leaf boxes. And once you go up on top, you see green boxes. Green boxes are US American eagles. Now, the reason why the eagles are on top is because the eagles are packaged rather inefficiently.
Okay.
It takes 50% more space to package 500 Maple Leaf boxes.
Interesting.
I mean, sorry, American Eagles
Versus maple.
versus Maple Leaf.
Right.
So because that makes American Eagles lighter, which is why they're going on top.
They can go further up. Okay.
Yeah, so you have this weight management thing. So that's why you have this layout.
Heavy at the bottom.
We have teams of about 8 inspectors from PwC. Last year we did it with Ernst & Young.
Yeah.
We changed, we used PwC for 3 or 4 years. We essentially switched over because they kept on charging us more and more. On the Ernst & Young,
like health insurance, it goes up by 10% every year.
That was sort of the main reason. Ernst & Young, on the other hand, plus from an audit point of view, it's not a bad thing every 3 or 4 years to do a change.
Right.
It's actually considered a good practice.
Yeah.
So we switched to Ernst & Young last year, but to give you an idea, you have a team of 8 auditors coming.
Right.
We have 8 people here.
Your employees, yeah.
And we basically make these teams where you get split, half of it doing gold, half of it doing silver. You then, for example, go to a pallet cage like this, you open it up, one person reads through the items which are supposed to be in it, the other person looks and finds the actual items, then they get ticked off.
Right.
So it's a very laborious sort of process. And the problem when you have a lot of bullion is you cannot put all of them down.
No.
Because not enough space.
Right.
So that makes it pretty much impossible to check everything within one day.
It would take a long time.
Yes. So what we're doing instead is we are now doing around 30% tests 4 times per year.
Okay. And it's not the same 30%, obviously, it rotates it.
Right.
Some overlap,
So
I guess.
what will happen is each one of these pallets have a seal.
Yeah.
It's a white seal.
Right.
We're also having an auditor seal, which is our premium.
Okay.
I'll show
I
some
remember
of
that in the
later.
video.
Right.
Yeah.
And once an auditor goes through a pallet, he will put the seal on it.
Yeah.
The next quarter, when he comes back, he will choose pallets which don't have the seal, as long as the seal is not broken.
Right.
And that's a way to ensuring that you're auditing 30%. Then, say 5% of these 30% might have been open because of the taken out, which means they're now auditing about 75%. Now, the 75% are taking 30%. So, because it's only 4 times, you pretty much end up testing everything over the period of 1 year. And that tends to be beyond what is done in this industry.
Sure.
So, as far as knowing what is in there, Aaron, can you give us a parcel ownership list? So I'll explain how we keep track of items, how we can make sure that items are not double sold, and what it is we actually testing. So when we build the system, we build it with transparency as being the number one
from the
requirement. And maybe I'll preface it by saying that most vaults, or a lot of dealers you might go to, they might use what's called fully allocated. Fully allocated is not a good system if you want to make sure things are there.
Yeah.
Because fully allocated just means that you are receiving, somebody's giving you $100 worth of gold, USD for example, and you are buying $100 worth of gold. Now the issue is that customer doesn't own any specific bar. He's just being owed a certain amount of ounces of gold. And that gold then essentially is on the dealer's balance sheet.
Right.
So if something happens to that dealer, that customer only has an IOU.
Claim on the dealer for whatever he's owed.
It's not a good system. Plus, because on the balance sheet of the dealer, they can use it as inventory, they can lease it out, they can do a lot of other things with that legally, because the customer just has an IOU.
Yes.
So when we started the system, I did not want to have a fully allocated. I want to have segregated ownership for our customers.
So the individual has title to an individual parcel of bullion at all times.
So the way we ensure that the customer is the owner of something is each parcel that you see here, each item, has a unique ID to it. So if you look at these, for example, you can see there's a number. It says SB10004451. this item belongs to a certain customer. This item over here might belong to a different customer. But every item we store here is individual package, individually tracked. It is tracked on this parcel ownership list. So as we open it up, you can see essentially,
and it's all done by number, and no one knows who the owners are when they look at this. It's
yes.
all
so
numbers.
this system was created before blockchain really became a thing.
Okay.
So this was created back in 2011, 2010 or 2011. Yes. The important thing here is to know that here's a parcel ID. Mm-hmm. That's the same ID as the sample we just showed. I mean, it's a different number, but you get the idea. And that's important number is a star account.
Right.
This is an anonymous ID of the owner,
of the customer,
who owns this bullion. Right. Now, this list is made available to all our Star Storage customers.
Yes.
Now, because it's made available to all Star Storage customers, each one of them would know what's their account ID is.
Yeah.
So they can do a control and find.
They can
double check.
Yes,
it's a PDF document. They can double check that the parcel is indeed assigned to them. They can also double check by looking at the parcel and do a control find that this parcel is nowhere else.
Yeah.
So this is a common list, the master list.
Yes.
The blockchain, pre-blockchain.
Yeah, right.
Master document essentially that the auditors auditing against.
Okay.
So when the auditors come, they audit against this list 4 times per year. The customers get a copy on it, so the customers can come in and actually ask for a custom audit of these items. And then, of course, we always refer to this item. So everybody refers back to this item. And getting back to the title issue, which I mentioned earlier, how does the owner become legal title owner of it? Well, as a company, we own $10 million worth of assets.
Yeah.
Most of that is in gold and silver, which we have as inventory.
Yes.
When a customer buys bullion from us, we sell, and these parcels are all parcelized. So it's either has a serial number like this, where the bar has a serial number and that itself is identifier, or it is a parcel like this. Yeah. And when you buy, you buy bar 752 and 755 for example. And that is sold to you via an invoice.
Yeah.
So an invoice, while people might not think about it being worth much, is actually an incredibly powerful document because it states, in this case under the laws of Singapore, that specific item, that good, has been sold from us to you. You as the legal title owner now, under the laws of Singapore, as evidenced by the invoice. Now, if you have a statement saying, I owe you 100 ounces of silver, that's very different from you having an invoice stating that you are a legal title owner of bar number 725. Because if I run away, if I default, you just have an IOU, you just have a claim. You go to the police says, well, it's a civil matter. But if you have an invoice and that item is yours, it's a criminal matter.
Okay.
So if something disappears here, it's called stealing.
Yes.
It's not called, oh sorry, I defaulted.
Right. It's not a commercial.
Yes. So no bullion dealer in their right mind would do a system like this. But we are doing it because
that's what the customer wants, or what you would want if you were.
It's because I wanted to build the best system, not just for the customer, but for myself. I have my own bullion here. And because I saw there's so many shortcuts being taken in the industry. And so from the start up, this is about not having shortcuts.
Yes.
And doing what's best for the customer. So the audit is done 3 times per year by Bureau Veritas, which is a standard bullion inspection company, the most common one. And once it's done by a financial auditor, which is Ernst & Young, which is one of the big 4 auditing companies. So that creates a lot of transparency. You also have to realize that running a system like this, it takes at least 3 times more space. Because an IOU system is very simple to run. You take a bar, you start stapling it up over here, and you just keep on stepping up higher and higher and higher. And it's sort of a first in, last out system. When something needs to go out, you just take the first bar which came out and you give it to somebody. They're all fungible, which is great because it makes a lot less work. You need to have a lot less controls, a lot less.
So it's good for the simpler. Good for the business owner, not so good for the customer.
Yes, doing it this way, you have a lot more costs because you have to have 3 times the space, and you have to have also systems to keep track of where everything is. Right. These seals over here.
Yeah.
These are our seals.
Yes.
Every time this gets opened,
the white ones. Yeah.
The vault management system would essentially have to have an order, which will be initiated by Secure Logistics, which is a subgroup within the vault, and then is executed by the vault operators themselves. And once it's done, it has to be resealed with a new RFID seal, which has been recorded in the system. So you cannot bypass any of these processes. And because of all this discipline and these systems in place, we manage to always keep track of where everything is. And every quarter we have the audit by the auditors, which are basically asking us to find all of these parcels.
Yes.
So I always tell people, if you store somewhere, you ought to be asking 4 questions, at the very least. A, how do you know it's there?
Yeah.
Right? And that's why when you buy with us, you get a photo of it, and you get that invoice with a number. You remember, in Singapore, it's criminal if you falsify an invoice.
Yes.
How do you know it's not sold to 5 different people? Well, again, because you have an invoice, it's also criminal to sell a property which is not yours, but that's what the past ownership list comes in. Right? Next question is, how do you know it's real? That's where the testing comes in, and more importantly, the guarantee. So this is an issue, we'll replace it. And keep in mind, as a company, we have $10 million in assets, we have 0 outside debt. So we are extremely strong counterparty. And the way we store this bullion, even if something happens to us, nobody can touch the bullion because it's a customer's property.
Someone else,
And the fourth question is, how do you make sure that whatever bullion is there is not being used as inventory or it's being leased out to somebody else, is somehow in some other way encumbered, which would then, when a crisis happens, might mean that the bullion isn't there. So for us, by definition, it's not something which we can do because it's not on our balance sheet. We sold it to you as that invoice. So that single fundamental change essentially is giving the customers a very large amount of protections. And then it's just a matter of having regular audits and having the systems which allow you to find
tracking stuff.
The way these safe deposit boxes work is you either tell us what you're putting inside, in which case we can insure it. But you cannot put gold in here for it to be insured. Or you don't tell us what you put inside. You put inside whatever you want.
But it's not insured.
For it to be insured, yes, because with this level of security here, being a class 1 vault, we only have silver, and gold is a class 2. And by following these rules, we are basically able to lower insurance premium. And the insurance, by the way, includes mysterious disappearance, which we've been talking about a lot, being very important. Infidelity, of course, theft, fire, and so on. It also covers some terrorism and other things. So every year we are adding, we're trying to add some additional things. So essentially, the same system which is happening outside, the same thing happens in here. But this is for
different level of
gold and platinum and palladium. Palladium being more expensive than platinum.
It's very
gold. This is what's called a class 2 vault. A class 2 vault means that it essentially is a lot thicker. You can either have 1 meter of reinforced concrete, or you can have what's called a lightweight vault, which is what this is, which is about 1 foot worth of composite steel. And one of the things about this type of vault is, if you were to drill through it with some diamond-tipped specialized drill, some areas of it are brittle. So it will break and will fall back into itself and essentially reseal itself. So as you are drilling through, it'll keep on resealing it, it's just delaying things. When you're in vaulting, you can never build something to keep somebody out indefinitely, but
the time makes
it's a certain time. A class 2 means that you're guaranteed to keep somebody out for 1 hour, unless they use anti-tank explosives or something like this. So really involving is about detecting something. And that's why, if you look over here, these are essentially lasers.
Yeah.
If you look on the side over here, these are
vibration sensors.
Vibration sensors.
Vibration.
So they're around 19 here. If somebody hammers or drills or something anywhere around this area, they will go off.
Quickly know about.
You have motion sensors on the top. You have contact sensors on the doors, and this is all linked to two security companies. One is
obviously.
Singapore Auxiliary Police, and then another private company. So you have redundancies.
Right.
And yes, we have about 60 cameras or so. And that footage gets recorded, but it also gets streamed live to our main office in Certis Cisco, and it gets stored there as well. This is where we store the gold. Now, the most efficient way of storing gold is we found in boxes like this.
Yeah.
And you can see one of the boxes here.
Yep.
They're basically custom designed by us, so that you can still lift them as a single person, even though they're mostly full with gold.
Okay.
So you can also rent these boxes yourself. So if you look over on this side, these boxes are owned by individual customers, just like the ones outside, and they have a seal.
Right.
So for example, these are heavy duty metal seals, and they're one way. So when a customer comes, we would essentially bring the box to the viewing room. The customer will not come in here, will go to his own room.
Yeah.
He will sign a document where we are basically saying that we are now cutting
this particular seal. Yeah.
Correct. And it will be signed by the customer or his representative, 2 vault operators and the security guard. And once that is done, you can basically open the box and you'll be in our own room. Once you're finished with it, we will go through the same process. A new seal is added. The customer will sign that this seal is now linked. And that provides a lot of integrity to the box. Because that additional box, for example, is using 2 keys.
Yeah.
Now, in our case, you can see that there's only one key here.
Yeah.
It's 1 key because the customer gets that key.
Okay.
And he has to come bring in the key, and then we have the seal. A traditional box would have 2 keys,
right?
With the idea being that the customer gets 1 key, and the vault operator has 1 key. But the problem with that setup is, as a vault operator, I can never prove to you that I didn't make a copy of your key. And because I cannot prove that to you, you might say that I made a copy of your key and I accessed the box.
Get in a dispute that way, yeah.
Yes. So it's not good for either party to have it. It makes more sense to have a one-time heavy-duty seal like this. So these are customer boxes. Down here, this is where we store the gold. Now you will see here the green
Lots of
items.
green ones, yeah.
These are
the audited ones.
yes. They're seals from in this case Bureau Veritas, and these ones are from 2 different sets of visits. So some of them are
Green
white, some of them are green and so on. Do you want to go through some of the testing, or do you want to do some of the sample?
Maybe we should try and look at some numbers and find them randomly just to do a little bit of an audit.
What RFID does for us, it speeds up how fast we can test.
Yeah.
Because it speeds up how fast we can test more. So we are expecting to be going back to 50% testing from 33 by next year.
Let me see the screen. Let me see the screen. Okay. Key the. So you key in the cache number.
So this is linked to the vault management system. You put in the P052.
P052. Okay. You retrieve. So these are the parcel number.
So this one is 2178. So one of them will be 2178. Here it is. You see?
Yep.
2178. Right over here.
Okay.
So, okay. So,
And this device is linked to this one. So once we scan with it, it will be recording which passes are.
Check them all off.
so this shows 0 of the 28.
Yep.
So now he's going to scan, and you look at this here.
Make sure 28 are there.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
28.
Very quick.
Yes.
And you can see the different parcels.
Okay, different
over here.
sizes.
Why don't you take one parcel away and you see what happened?
Now this system is this scanner is quite powerful.
Yeah.
So it can easily pick up from other areas as
So
well.
you've got to take it a long way away.
So you, yes, you put it far away.
So the RFID won't.
What number is that?
What number?
A secret.
Oh, secret. Okay, I'll show it later.
Okay.
So we're going to do it again, and one
So
one should now not be
So
there.
that is 0. So okay,
Okay.
1 is missing. So it's 27 of the 28.
Yeah.
What's the number that's missing?
Ends
2265.
ends in 2265.
2265?
So what we got?
Oh.
Hopefully.
Yep. So yes, 2265
Okay.
missing. Okay. 2265 is missing. Yep. Okay. Yep, we scan it again. Reset it.
And now they're all within proximity. Yeah?
It's okay now?
28 out of 28. Okay.
Yes, 28 out of 28.
What about
You want to randomly pick
Yeah. Okay. So here we go.
Okay, so
you can randomly pick.
this is the parcel ownership list.
And you update this. How often is it?
Every 2 days.
Every 2 days.
Every 2 days, the customer gets a new one.
Yeah.
So, so do you want to use this one? This is an older one.
It's okay actually. We can just show them how we actually retrieve, and then we take it out. Or I can print out another new one.
Okay, I'll go with this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So.
Because it's not this is a somewhat older.
Yes,
printed
correct.
out one.
Yeah.
I see.
But because most of Boolean is here,
It has.
Yeah.
it's fine.
Okay. Perth Mint silver bars, 1 kilo. How about 6865?
Around.
P193.
You want to write it
You write down?
down? It's actually put into the system.
Yes.
Okay.
P. What's the number?
P193.
Let's just write it down. It's
Yeah.
still like to
Yeah.
write some stuff.
去来的笔啊，来张纸。要笔。
Yeah, we'll put it in. Okay, so again?
P193.
P193.
And the parcel number 6865.
So this is a parcel number. SB1000, right?
Yeah.
SB1000. Okay. So that one is silver, right?
It's Perth Mint silver bars. That's what it says.
And you want another one?
Okay. These are up high, I guess. American Eagle coins. Let's try this one. P249. SB 2000. 9794.
So you have how many now?
That's 2. Should we do one more?
Yep.
Something different?
Yep.
Gold or silver? Do a gold one, is that okay?
Yep.
Sure. Let's try V0402.
Oh, no, that's
Is it
that's the
an O?
location. That one we don't need because
No.
that one can,
Just the
can
parcel
change
number.
because it's the old parcel number. Yes.
SB 1000 2123.
Okay.
are cutting
break the seal.
Yeah.
So that'll get replaced with a new one.
Yeah, because essentially what we did when we put this in, we created an order from secure logistics to then say, okay, we will of these parts. Okay, now we need to find it.
What is the number?
6865.
And this is the bit that's being put on RFID gradually throughout the box
Yes,
to make things bigger, yeah?
Once we have it on all the parcels, one thing we'll be able to do is potentially walk around with the device, turn it on, and listen to where it is. Now, we don't want to have a system based on having to listen where it is,
No.
but it's sort of a good fallback.
Combination.
And we have a number of other words coming in, which are quite interesting.
Right.
Yep.
There it is.
So
Okay.
what's the number? Okay, good.
And there's 5 bars as there should be, yeah?
Yep.
2, 4, 5.
5 over here, yes. Okay, so in fact, this bag has been tagged with RFID already.
Okay, it has.
Yeah.
So here's the 1 kilo. 999.
9.
First mint.
First mint silver bars. Okay. That was the first item.
So a parcel like a pallet like this is much lighter.
Then one of these.
And this brings you to another interesting point because some of these boxes are transferred in.
Yeah.
And
So
that's
the customer bought it somewhere else and then shipped it to
yes.
store it here.
Yes. And we can tell because this one was basically opened by us and tested. And down on the side you can look at, you can see the tested. But let's find the item first.
Okay.
And what's the number?
Huh?
97.
You got it. Okay, let's put it there. 9794. Okay, great.
My script notes.
He's still previously still inspected by Bureau Veritas.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
So
the
it's-
order said it.
So you got to cut it, yeah.
So we're gonna cut the brewer
Correct,
apples
yeah.
here.
I need to retrieve the key. And now we have a sophisticated system to secure all these keys.
So it's based on G.
Yep.
Yeah, this G1, row number 1. So he's trying to get row number 1 for 402.
And this is obviously your inventory because you have the keys. If it were a customer one, the
Yes,
customer would
yeah, that's right.
so we wouldn't be able to get in. Which is also important.
G1, 402.
The the physical security. When I was talking with the insurance, essentially when you get vault insurance,
Yeah.
they will send what's called a species inspector.
Okay.
These are people which have a very good understanding of vault security and counter security, and of course they have, say, insurance statistics
Right.
to know what happened.
Right.
So they're in the business of evaluating the risk,
Yeah.
and essentially the outside staff
What's the number?
in Singapore is extremely
Almost non-existent. Yeah.
So it's really more about keeping track of things,
And
possibility of
the
inside
logs,
jobs.
security logs, and
Yes.
systems and all that. Yeah.
And then of course you want to make good impression of insurance, because then you can ask for lower premium.
Yeah.
And then your insurance
Right.
cost comes down.
Bill comes down.
And so we've been managing to, so we've been operating both silver bullion. We are 10 years now.
Yeah.
Very natural.
And
Mantua.
we've never had any insurance claim.
Wow.
And we never had any significant loss. I mean, we had a couple of cases where somebody gave wrong size bar,
Okay.
like
So-
a 10 ounce instead of a
Mismatch
5
in the
ounce
size.
silver.
Yeah.
You
But
open
the
it,
amounts are very, very small. So,
Okay, well. 2, 1, 2, 3. The parcel number.
1, 2, 3. What's the
2, 1, 2, 3.
yeah? Okay.
Fine Gold Johnson Matty bar.
Yes.
And this is a 10-ounce bar, as I recall. Isn't
Yeah.
it?
This is a
Correct. Yeah.
10 ounce. Okay.
Okay. So we pack.
It's
We
there.
put it back.
Along with all the others.
and so on Monday,
Mm-hmm.
we have Puro Veritas coming,
Okay.
and they're going to
For
check
the-
30%.
One of their
Voters.
3 annual visits that they
Yes.
do. Okay.
And they basically go by box over here. They
Sample,
choose one,
okay.
and since they want to see that, for example, for this one, they check that each one of these
Yeah.
matches that list you have.
Okay.
And that's when they seal it. So when they come on Monday, maybe they're rechecking that same bar again.
Yeah, they could be now that we've taken the seal off.
So this seal, once we cut it, we cannot throw it away.
Okay.
So we have to
will
return
demand to see
return
as
it to
well.
Virista. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, well, I think we've got to
Okay.
understand the system
point it
better,
to
and it's
Point to there.
demonstrated
Point to there.
that it works, and
Okay.
nothing, nothing unusual or untoward. Everything seems to be functioning as advertised, which is good. And I understand a little bit more about it now, and hopefully the viewers will as well.
And my next project is sort of to go a step beyond this
Yeah.
with the Gram Chain project.
Okay.
Now maybe we can talk about it some other time. But
Sure.
essentially, we are going to add blockchain security.
Aha.
We are taking real assets in a really transparent system, and we are substituting that for all that IOU and non-transparency. So it's like shining a light into
On-
this dark
Right.
industry of where you don't quite know
What's
what the bullion is, where it is. So that's basically what the next step is.
Okay, exciting. Well, thanks again for your time and for all the guys. I understand it's the use of your resources, so we appreciate that. And I'm sure we'll have another installment from the Safe House in the future covering another topic.